Hi everyone, welcome to this series of Decoding Exits, where I would cover most of the things that have happened in the public markets, whereas my colleague Karthik typically covers secondaries, M&As that lead to exits. So, in the month of August, there were about 6 DRHPs that were filed by PE backed companies. Many interesting companies, some of them you would know, some of them you may not know. So the first company is Molbio Diagnostics, which basically is a manufacturer of molecular diagnostic instruments. And their fame is that they drew instruments which were very popular for identification of TB. And they played a very large role in eradication of TB in the country, and which was cited by WHO as well. The investors on the cap table include Temasek and Motilal. Of course, in the fund names would be different. This company is targeting an IPO issue plus OFS of about 1400 crores, of which about 200 crores is OFS. The expected valuation, as per public reports, is about 12,500 crores, which is meaningful. And there are about 1.3 crore shares up for sale in the OFS. The investors, both investors, are looking to sell some parts of their ownerships, wherein both of them cumulatively are selling about 36% of the OFS being offered. The promoters are selling about 30% of the OFS being offered. Quickly, a snapshot of the financials of this company. The company did about 1,000 crores of revenue in FY25 and a PAT of about 194 crores. So that was on this company. The next company is a company which you would have known by the name Kissht, which was a very well-known name, or is a very well-known name in BNPL, which is buy now, pay later. But they are not limited to consumer lending. Over a period of time, they expanded into lending to merchants as well as POS-based financing. The thing to note about this company is that most of the lenders depend or look for CIBIL scores. Kissht was somebody said that I am gonna invent my own score, which they call the Kissht Score, which comes on transaction data, your social profiles, utility payments that you do. So, for example, somebody makes a mobile payment regularly, and his social profile also doesn't show that he is a bad guy. Maybe he would get a better rate compared to somebody else who doesn't pay his mobile bills regularly. The investors, again, here, like Temasek, we are hearing for the second time. The first company also had Temasek as a backer. Of course, here the backer that way is Vertex. So Vertex and Venture East. The IPO size over here is about 1650 crores, of which 1000 crores is fresh issue. Now, compared to the earlier company, you would see that the fresh issue is higher, because the point to be noted is that this is a lender. For a lender, to a large extent, equity is kind of raw material, if you understand, right? Because you take equity, you leverage on it, and then you lend to your consumers, customers. The last round valuation of this company was about 4,000 crores. And at that valuation, if you look at about 0.9 crore shares which are being offered for sale, it is about 650 crores. And both Vertex and Venture East are looking to sell some parts of their stake. In terms of the business, here, since it's a lending company, more than revenue and profits, I would like to look at their AUM. They have about 4,000 crores of AUM, which has grown about 50% year over year. Their average ticket size is about 30,000 rupees or so. The business generates about 160 crores of profits. So that's on Kissht. The next company is a company which is Fractal Analytics. Interestingly, we had its founder Shrikant on our season 1 episode of the Blume podcast as well. This is a company which is into enterprise AI and analytics, providing various solutions and software products to large corporates. An interesting snippet on this company. The company ran a formal process to pick up a CEO amongst the co-founders, which led to a large backlash, and some co-founders left, which was like a near-death experience for the company, but the company turned around very well. The second interesting fact about this company, The initial backers of this company was the family which was behind one of the most famous earlier TV brands in the country. For people who recollect a brand called Onida. So the Mirchandani family were the early backers in this company, and I think they still own about 18-19% in this company. The other investors on the cap table are TPG and Apex. The total IPO size over here is about 5,000 crores. The last round valuation was about 21,000 crores. So at that price or so, they would be offloading an OFS of about 3,600 crores. Both Apex and TPG are looking to sell some parts. The Mirchandani family is looking to sell about 130 crores. Your Apex is looking to sell about 1460 and TPG is looking to sell about 2000 crores. In terms of their performance has been phenomenal. Their revenue is about 2700 crores, growing at about 26% YOY, EBITDA of about 400 crores and a PAT of about 220 crores, which is pretty scaled asset. The next company is a company called CleanMax Enviro Energy Solutions. Pardon if I'm not able to spell the name correctly, but that's their name by which they go on the DRHP. This is a company in the solar space. They are a developer and operator of commercial and industrial solar and renewable energy solutions. This company, rather than just being an installer, the way they went about it is providing a long-term predictability on energy requirements of companies, and they went by providing a strategic solution or a product to CFOs. Of course, it's an asset-heavy company, and Brookfield is the largest shareholder on the cap table. 1,500 crores is the fresh issue, and the remaining 3,700 crores would be the OFS component. In terms of scale, they have revenues of about 1,500 crores, a PAT of about 20 crores. The next company is a tiling company. It's called Varmora Granito Limited. Of course, apart from ceramic tiles, they have slabs, engineered surfaces, etc., both for domestic markets and export markets. A very fun thing. Like, this is founder going to the nth extreme to make his business successful. The founder, Bhavesh Patel, changed his name to Bhavesh Varmora just to get an Italian association to the brand. So think of it like Patel Granito Limited versus Varmora Granito Limited. Very different ways of perceiving this. A subsidiary of Carlyle is an investor on the cap table. Here the IPO size is about 1050 crores, of which fresh issue is about 400 crores, and the remaining would be an OFS wherein this Carlyle entity would look to sell that position. In terms of scale, this is about 1,450 crores of revenue and about 31 crores of PAT. And the last company to talk about DRHPs is a famous dialysis chain called NephroCare. It is a network of dialysis centers which they run on their own, or they also run rental care services across hospitals and standalone clinics. The origin of this is very interesting. It's probably from the personal need of the founder. So Kamal Shah, who was a long-time dialysis patient, chronicled his experience in a blog, and then he connected with a McKinsey consultant to come up and set up NephroCare, and basically to take care of the pitfalls that a dialysis patient sees across the value chain or when he interacts with a dialysis center. Multiple renowned names that you would see on the cap table: InvestCorp, IFC, Edoras, 361, Bessemer. This is an IPO size of about 800 crores, of which the fresh issue is of about 350 crores. The shares that are being offered for OFS are about 1.3 crore shares. And remember, when I say this number of shares or amount in OFS, it changes when it is closer to the market, closer to the listing. And in terms of scale, this is about 750 crores of revenue and about 67 crores of PAT. The revenue is growing at about 36% YOY. So those are the 6 DRHPs, many interesting stories behind each of these IPOs. And I'm sure the founders would have put in their sweat, money, efforts to build these large, successful companies. And we wish all the best to all of them.